Hi, good morning. And today I'm really excited because I'm always asked, what is it like to work with me? So today I wanted to introduce you to one of my previous clients who is Detola, and we're going to be talking about her experience of what it was like to actually work one-on-one with me. So let's welcome Detola. And Detola is an author, she's a speaker, and she's the founder of Super Working Mom Academy. So thank you so much for joining me today,
Thank you,
Detola.
Petra. Thanks for having me today.
And how are you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm excellent. I'm great.
Brilliant. I'm so excited to speak to you because, I've told you so many times, you are one of my absolute favorite clients. You were just such a joy to work with. We had so much fun. We had laughter, tears, fun, everything.
Yeah.
So today, it's literally about just a case study about you. So share with us your journey. Share with us how you started in business.
Okay. So it's funny, growing up, I always saw myself as a career person. Like from uni, I went straight, I worked with one of the top 4 consultancy companies, Accenture, and I'd seen myself, going up the career ladder. But then after I had my daughter in 2009, I just felt like there was much more to life than this 9 to 5 job that I was in. I was struggling with, being a wife, being a mom, being a child of God and all of that. And so I started my blog. Funny enough, I'd started blogging way before then because I love to write. But then I now started the Super Working Mom blog just to talk about my journey as a new mom and how to juggle life. But then the big shift came in 2013 when I was pregnant with my son. And I was on a contract role that had just been, renewed for another year. But then in January, I was told that I had to go because of budget. So budget. And that just rocked it shook my world. I went into depression.
Wow.
When people used to say people go into depression, I never knew what that felt like. But then I knew I was in bed for like 2 weeks. The only thing I did was ate and went to the bathroom.
Wow.
Apart from that, I was just in my bed. But then, I know not everyone watching is a Christian, but I'm a Christian, and I felt God telling me that I needed to just stop being, pitying myself and just get up and think about the next step. And so that was when I felt it was time to take up Super Working Mom from just being a blog into business. So that's when my journey started from.
Oh, that is brilliant. So would you say that during that time you believe that God helps you to find your purpose and what you were called to do in this world? Because I personally believe that we all have a purpose in life. We are born with a very specific answer to a very specific problem. So did you find that during that time you found what God wanted you to do with your life?
Yes. So I think I'd always known, in a sense, where God was directing me towards, which is to help women. I knew it was women, but then at this point, I began to realize it was specifically mothers. And then with time, it evolved to specifically Christian mothers, because the struggle I found out that a lot of Christian mothers were having was that after they have a child, they seem to let every other ball drop. And all they wanted to do was just be a mom to this baby, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But then what I believe is, just like you said, God has given each and every one of us a specific assignment. But what tends to happen is that mothers just forget that assignment and say, oh, I just want to be, a mother to this little child. And for some, that's their assignment. But for many, they have something else that God has called them to do. So yes, I believe at that point, I began to figure out that God was calling me to Christian mothers to help them realize that, yes, you might be busy with so many things, but then there's a way that you can maximize your time so that you are still figuring out and still working on that path that God has called you to. Yes.
That's wonderful. So tell me, before you started working with me, what were the struggles that you were having in terms of building your business, and especially enrolling high-end clients that before I don't think you was able to do?
Okay, so the main struggle I was having was actually getting, the right clients. So the thing was, even though I was being out there, I was sharing my message, and I was getting a lot of, yeah, we love what you're saying, but I wasn't getting clients. Everyone was saying, oh, you're so encouraging, you're so inspiring, But then no one was saying, I want you to help me. I want you to help me, figure out what God has called me to do. I want you to help me figure out how to spend my time on what God has called me to do. So I was struggling with converting, like fans to clients. And I was also charging lead to, and I guess I also had this block that Christians wouldn't pay, that they might think, oh, it's charity.
Yeah.
So that was what I struggled with. Yes.
Yes, and the thing is, you had a large audience because you had a Facebook group, didn't you? Of just under 1,000 people, wasn't it?
Yes, at that. So I had first of all, I had a Facebook group with about 2,000 members, but I shut that down. Yes, this was when I felt God was calling me to work with, specifically Christian moms. Yeah. So I kind of, because there were lots of people in there, and I didn't feel I was going to be able to share the kind of message I wanted to. So I shut that down and then started a new group. Yeah.
Brilliant. So how did you find me online? How did you find me online?
So I think I found you on another group we were both in, and then I jumped on one of your periscopes. No, you were a guest at someone's webinar, and then I found your periscope, and I just thought, wow, she's so bubbly and lively, and you had this very funny laughter as well. Yeah, that one. That's the one. Yes.
And I specifically remember this because I always tell my clients that you don't have to have a long-winded relationship. You don't have to have a long period of time where you're nurturing a specific client to work with you, because I remember I was on the webinar one week, and the following week you came onto my periscopes, and then what happened was you asked me a question on the periscope. I remember this because I was in the car driving with my husband at the time, and then I found you on Facebook, and then we exchanged messages, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then what happened was I invited you to have a discovery call with me. Yeah. And then you said yes, and you signed up straight away, didn't you?
Yes.
So
definitely.
What was the reason then why you signed up straight away? Because a lot of the time, as I said, people don't think that you can actually have someone who is hot for you and then who didn't even know you existed, and then enroll onto your services straight away.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's a combination of many things. One of which is, at that point, I needed help, like there and then. And you happen to be the person who God led me to, or made our paths cross. So that I feel it was, God ordained. I was ready at that point. I needed help. I knew I needed help because one of my goals was to leave my job so that I could focus on my business full time. And I needed someone to help me craft my message so that would be possible to be able to get new clients. And I think the other key thing that did it for me was when you said you were a Christian, that because I was targeting the Christian market, I needed someone who was in that space and knew, some of the challenges that a Christian woman would face. So I think that was one of the biggies for me. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. And the first thing that we worked on, was your messaging, wasn't it? Because at that time, you wasn't really connecting with people, and they kind of saw your group as a group where they could just pray and post motivational messages and things like that. So how was it that how did your business change then once we start to really focus on a plan to create your personal brand as well as a message that connects and converts?
Okay. I think the key way it changed was, first of all, I was communicating a clear message. I was communicating that I was in business to help and not just here to hold your hand and, motivate you. I was here to help, and I wanted to get paid for it. So I think I'm more confident in communicating that. And then that way, I was getting rid of, that sounds a bit harsh, but I was basically eliminating time wasters.
Yes.
And the serious people now saw that, oh, wow, okay, she's available for me to, to contact her so that she can help me maximize my time so that I can manifest my dream, which was the tagline we came up with.
Yes.
That's one of the key things I wanted to be able to help mothers with, to know that even with a very busy life, you can still be a great mom, you can still be a great wife, and still fulfill your calling, still fulfill what God has called you to do. So I think having that clear message and being able, that confidence to say, yes, I can help you, and you need to invest if you want me to help you. Yeah, that was a game changer for me.
Brilliant. Can you share other types of challenges that you were also facing during our time of working together as well?
I think one of the main challenges was trying to get my husband on board in terms of me running my business full time, which was actually the question I'd asked you, that what do you do when, you know,
Yes.
your partner is not fully on board with you running your business full time. So that was a challenge, and that was one of the things I thought was a block for me. But then I think working with you, one thing you made me realize was I just need to keep doing what I was doing, and he would see, like, wow, she's serious about this. It's not a joke anymore. She's not joking around. And eventually, you know, he would fall in line, which was what happened. And I think also God made that happen as well, where he saw that there was, you know, because at the point when I was leaving my job, my boss wanted, so it was a contract role, and my boss had said they were making it permanent, and was offering me the role. So, you know, I went back to my husband and said, I feel it's time, you know, and he was like, yeah, I think it's time to. I've seen your dedication, I've seen your consistency. You wake up early in the morning, you do, you know, you work on your business before you go into your job. So because he could see that I wasn't playing about, you know, this was serious. So at that point, he did come on board. So that challenge, I'm glad it's resolved now.
And when you told me, I just remember that day when you says, I think you sent me a message, says, Petra, they've offered me a permanent job. Because I remember during that time we were really praying for that, your husband, we were praying for your business. And then we had our coaching session, and you says, Petra, I'm not going back to work. So tell us about that.
So yeah, I think one of the things you had mentioned to me. So one of the things we had done when we started was you had told me to write down all my goals, and that I should write my goals down every day. And I'm like, seriously? But then I'm like, okay, I'll do this. And that's where journaling comes into play, you know, because I have a journal. I've created one which you know about. And every day I would write it that in December 2015, I'm leaving my job. I didn't know how it was going to happen. At that point, like, you know, like my husband wasn't on board yet. But I just kept writing it down every day. And I used to visualize myself leaving my job happy and knowing that my business was there waiting for me. So it was like a dream come true, really. It was a dream come true. That's what I can say. Yeah.
It was. So tell us then, that's a massive result that happened when we were working together. You left your 9 to 5, and you turned down a very high, like, I mean, a very, very, very high paying job.
Yeah.
You know, to be a full-time entrepreneur. So you did actually, during our time working together, what we actually increased your fees, didn't we? And we created a high-end package for you.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you tell me the difference that you had when you used to have sales conversations, and then when we worked together, how your sales conversations changed?
So before we started working together, I didn't just have sales conversation. It was more of a, you know, inspirational conversation that never led anywhere. And, you know, I wasn't really telling people the next step. I wasn't closing anything, and I was wondering, what am I doing wrong? But then after working with you, basically showed me the strategy on how to, you know, make the other person feel comfortable and not be salesy or pushy, but more like pull them in, and they're the ones saying, okay, when do we start? So I remember, you know, first I signed up about 3 clients or so while we were actually working, and the key thing that you had said to me was to communicate my results to them, like what results have I gotten previous customers or previous clients or mentees, which in turn, because like you always say, people think about themselves. They're not thinking about how wonderful your product is. The bottom line is, how is it going to help me? So because I was now able to communicate how I could help them see results, where, for example, you've wanted to write a book for a long time. You didn't know how, couldn't find the time. And I was telling you, you know what, I can help you find that time to write that book. And by the time we're done working together, your book is done and ready. And they're like, wow, really? You can do that? I'm like, yes. So, that was the main difference, knowing that I didn't have, and I think the fear then was, I didn't want to sound salesy, like, oh, give me your money. But because I was able to communicate the results they were going to get, the money wasn't the issue anymore.
Exactly. And you've since increased your fees again, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
That is brilliant. I mean, thank you so much, Detola, for coming on and allow me to ask you these questions.
No problem.
Look, you've seen it here. You've seen it here. It doesn't have to take long to enroll a high-end client. It doesn't have to take long. The thing about it is, you never know when a client's ready. Okay, you never ever know. So the most important thing is to continue marketing, continue putting yourself out there, and then just like Detola said, she was ready. She already knew she had a coach, and and I was there, available and ready, and I asked the question, and that is exactly what to do to enroll high-end clients. So thank you so much, Detola, for joining me, and I will see you on Facebook.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, Petra. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
your time. Bye.